Welcome to Race Talks with Retonia. This is Retonia Brashear. And this week we're going to be talking about white savior mentality. I wonder what that's about. We'll see you in a minute.
Oh, say, can you see? That's what they want us to believe in so blindly. But we got to take a stand and start talking about the truth and the facts. So, let's chat. Race Talks with Retonia. Race Talks with Retonia. Yeah, Race Talks with Retonia.
Welcome back to Race Talks with Retonia. Today we're going to be focusing on savior mentality. And you would say, what is that term? What does that mean? Sometimes combined with savior complex, it refers to whites who act to help people of color, with people of color's context being the only reason that they're doing it. And what that means is they want to make sure that you know that they're helping you. And it's almost kind of an exploitation. The phrase white savior is taught in America through our society in a number of ways. Hollywood, we see it all the time. Even when we tell you a story about people of color, we make sure that there is always a white savior in that particular narrative. For example, Glory, and I love Glory, but we had a white savior in Glory. Mississippi Burning, great story, but there was a white savior in that story. Cry Freedom, amazing truth, but there was a white savior. Dances with Wolves, we all know who the white savior was there. Django, white savior. It's so subtle, it's so normal that we don't even know that we do it. It is almost impossible in Hollywood to do a story about people of color without making sure that there is a line and thread of a white savior. They feel that if there's not, the movie will not do well. It will not be what they want. They will not receive the dividends that they need to get if there is not a white savior in the narrative. Now, this is a false narrative, and we should understand that there are many times when people of color have done amazing things without the help or assistance of a white savior. Even in the story about the young man who was a football player, and yet the movie was mostly about his white mother and the white family. But if you go back and read the book, the story was about Michael and what he had did. But when they took it to film, they felt it necessary to make sure that we understood that there was a white savior. This is very, very harmful for people of color. It also changes their story. It makes their story not as true and definitely not as accurate. This tends to function in all areas of our lives. In school, in Hollywood, of course, in our churches, the false narrative that continues to support that the only way that people of color can be successful or can be validated or can be important is if they have a white person alongside of them. And this is not true. Now, even though we understand the value of our allies coming alongside of us, it is so important that those allies take a back seat to the program, that they do not say, hey, I will be involved only if I lead. This is very, very harmful. We need to make sure we understand that. When we go to a private, even in private schools, and there are people of color that are there, they say to them, aren't you grateful that you're here, that you're in a good school? And quote, what they mean by that is that school is predominantly white. Oh, you're going to be better now that you are out of that ghetto situation and now you are here in a situation where you can be uplifted and you can be advanced. It is really interesting, even in our system, we actually teach our children that whiteness is correct. When you look at our curriculum, it is either about America or about Europe. There are no other curriculums that are mandatory. The only curriculums that are mandatory in U.S. government and to be able to be placed in an advanced program are the history of Europe and the history of white America. So what does that tell us? It says that other cultures are not valuable, that other cultures are less than. And this is throughout our history. There is nothing in our history books that gives clear understanding about Asia or Africa or Latino Americans. That is not required when you live in America. The only thing that is required is that you understand and know about white history and European history. So there we go. So we lift these particular people and particular culture up higher than we do other cultures. And we do it so subtly, we do it so nonchalantly that we do not know that that is what we are doing. So think about that. If you are a person of the majority culture and you are wanting to come alongside people of color and you want to stand with them and you want to be a part of the change, don't make yourself the savior. Make yourself the partner. Remember, we have had 180 years of the Middle Passage, 246 years of slavery, 100 years of illusionary freedom, which included black code, convict leasing, Jim Crow, lynching, followed by redlining, disenfranchising people, gross unequal treatment, almost in every aspect of society. And now we're being policed with brutality. We are having mass incarceration. We are actually still redlining. There are things that are still happening in the character of this country that we need to address. And what we don't need is for someone to come to us and say, hey, let me help you save the day. Let me be your savior. But we do need people to come alongside of us and say, we value you, you are important, your cause is important, and we want to walk alongside of you. Do not be a white savior. It is not needed. Thank you so much. Have a great day.